I set my coffee down on the kitchen counter, my fingers tightening around my phone as my mom's voice filled my ear. Laura, honey, have you been ordering food with your debit card? I frowned, my mind racing. No, why? I just got an alert. 6 separate charges to a food delivery app. They total over $300. Is that a mistake? My stomach dropped. That couldn't be right. I barely used my debit card on campus. My parents had paid for my dining plan, and even if I wanted takeout, I'd never order that much. I'll look into it, Mom, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But inside, my heart was pounding. I sat down, opening my banking app. There they were, 6 separate transactions over the past 2 weeks, all through a food delivery service. Burgers, sushi, pizza, orders I had never placed. I felt a prickle of unease run down my spine. Someone had used my card. The only person who had access to it was my boyfriend, Jake. I knew it was dumb, but I didn't want to believe it. Jake and I had been together for a year. He was charming, intense, and could be a little aggressive when things didn't go his way, but he had never stolen from me. At least I didn't think so. Trying not to jump to conclusions, I walked across campus to his dorm, knocking on his door. Hey, babe. He greeted me with a smirk, his blue eyes scanning my face. I took a deep breath. Jake, have you used my debit card? His expression darkened instantly. What? Are you seriously accusing me of stealing from you? He snapped. Someone used my card for food orders, and you're the only person who... Wow, Laura, wow. That's how much you trust me? Maybe you should cancel your card before some random hacker drains your account. I hesitated. Maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe it was a scam. But something about the way he reacted made my stomach twist. Yeah, I said slowly. I'll call the bank. That night, I canceled my card. But I wasn't satisfied. Something wasn't adding up. So I did something Jake would hate. I reached out to the food delivery service. I messaged their customer support, asking if they could send me the receipts for the purchases. It took a few hours, but when they finally responded, my breath caught in my throat. The name on the receipts? Jake. They had tried to redact it by scribbling over it, but they had done a terrible job. His name was still clearly visible. And the last order? Had been just 2 hours before I confronted him. I felt my blood turn cold. He had just eaten the food I unknowingly paid for when he stood there, looking me in the eye, and lied. I stared at my phone, my chest tightening with a mix of anger and humiliation. The next morning, I walked straight to Jake's dorm. My hands were shaking as I knocked, but my voice was steady when he answered. I have the receipts, Jake. He blinked at me. What receipts? The ones from the food orders. They have your name on them. For a moment, he didn't move. Then his whole face twisted into something ugly. Are you serious right now? You went snooping? You don't trust me at all. Trust you? You stole from me, Jake, and you lied to my face about it. That's when it happened. His hand clenched into a fist, not raised. Just there, just tight enough to be a warning. You're making a big deal out of nothing, he hissed. It was just some food. You weren't using the money anyway. I swallowed hard. I wasn't going to let him intimidate me. We're done, Jake, I said, my voice calm. He laughed, but there was no humor in it. Oh, we're done? Who do you think you are, Laura? You're nothing without me. You think you can just walk away? I held my ground. Watch me. And then I turned and walked out. As I made my way back to my dorm, my heart was racing. I wasn't scared. Not yet. I was just furious. But I should have been scared. Because when you leave someone like Jake, they don't just let you go. And I was about to find out just how far he was willing to go. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Jake's face. The anger, the condescension, the veiled threat in his clenched fists. I had dumped him. I should have felt relieved. But instead, I felt uneasy. Like something was coming. And I was right. The next morning, I woke up to a string of missed calls and texts from Jake. Jake, 1:14 a.m. You're seriously making a big deal over some food? You're pathetic. Jake, 1:37 a.m. I should have known you'd turn into a crazy ex. Jake, 2:05 a.m. No one's going to believe you. You have no proof. Jake, 2:30 a.m. You better not tell anyone. My stomach twisted. And then, one last message, sent at 4:12 a.m. Jake, you're gonna regret this. That was the moment I realized this wasn't over. By lunchtime, it was obvious Jake had gotten to work. People in our dorm, people who used to be my friends, were giving me weird looks, whispering behind my back. My roommate Sarah was the one who finally told me, "Laura, you need to see this." She slid her phone across the table. It was open to Jake's Snapchat story. The caption, "Crazy ex-girlfriend is trying to ruin my life." And the image? A blurry screenshot of a fake text conversation where I was supposedly begging him to take me back. "Are you serious?" I muttered, my face burning. "That's not even the worst part," Sarah said grimly. Jake had been telling people that I stole money from him. That's why everyone was whispering. That's why people were staring at me. He was flipping the story. And some people who didn't know me well enough, were believing him. I wanted to scream. I needed air. I left the dining hall, my mind racing. What do? Do I ignore it? Do I fight back? Do I tell people the truth? As I was walking back to my dorm, my phone buzzed. A text from Mark, one of Jake's old friends. "Mark, heads up. Jake is saying some serious shit about you. I wouldn't trust him to back off." My pulse spiked. "Me? What do you mean?" "Mark, he's pissed you embarrassed him. Says you owe him. Be careful." I stared at the message. Owe him? For what? For calling out his lies? For dumping him? I had a sinking feeling. I wasn't just dealing with a bitter ex. I was dealing with someone who wanted revenge. That night, I locked my dorm room door. I double-checked the lock. I told myself I was being paranoid. But at 3:47 a.m., I woke up to a sound. A click. The sound of a door handle turning. My heart stopped. And then, a soft knock. "Laura, open the door." Jake. He was right outside my door. I held my breath, my hands shaking. "Laura, I know you're in there." The handle rattled. My mind went into full panic mode. Was he going to break in? What did he want? I grabbed my phone and texted Sarah, who was staying with her boyfriend that night. "Me. Jake is outside my door. Won't leave." What do? A pause. Then, "Sarah, call security, now." I didn't hesitate. I dialed campus security with shaking fingers. "Campus safety, what's your emergency?" "My ex is outside my door. He won't leave." "What's your location?" I gave them my dorm and room number. "Stay where you are. Officers are on the way." I clutched my phone, my pulse hammering in my ears. For 2 whole minutes, Jake just stood there. Then, finally, footsteps. Voices. A knock, this time, louder. "Sir, step away from the door." Silence. Then, the sound of retreating footsteps. One of the officers knocked. "Miss, you can open the door now." When I did, Jake was gone. I reported him to the resident director first thing in the morning. Jake was banned from my dorm building and given a formal warning from campus security. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. Because that night, I got a text from my bank. "Unusual login attempt detected on your account." And my stomach dropped. I opened my banking app and saw my savings balance. Or what was left of it. Jake had drained my account. I stared at my phone screen, my entire body numb. Account balance. $14.82. My savings were gone. Everything. For a moment, I thought I was seeing things. Maybe this was a glitch. Maybe the app wasn't updating correctly. But no, there it was, plain as day. A series of unauthorized transactions, transfers I never made. And then it hit me. Jake. I felt sick. He had already stolen from me once, lied to my face, humiliated me with his stupid fake texts and stories. He had come to my door in the middle of the night. And now? He had taken my money. This wasn't some petty breakup drama anymore. This was theft. This was criminal. This was war. I wasn't going to cry about it. I wasn't going to beg him to send it back. I was going to end him. I took a deep breath and called my bank. Hi, I need to report fraudulent transactions on my account. The customer service rep asked me to verify my identity and list the charges. As I went through them, I realized something crucial. The transactions had all been made through a digital payment app linked to my bank account, which meant one thing. There was a record. The rep confirmed it. The money had been transferred to another user. They couldn't tell me the name directly, but they could flag the transactions for investigation. I already knew whose name they would find, but I needed more. So I did something I knew Jake would never expect. I called his bank. Hi, my name is Laura, and I believe someone has been making unauthorized transfers from my account to one of your users. I need to confirm some details for a potential fraud claim. It took a little sweet talking, but eventually I got exactly what I needed. The recipient account? Jake's full name. He was sloppy. He was stupid. And now, I had proof. Jake thought he could take from me without consequences. He was about to learn just how wrong he was. I started small. I went to campus security. I showed them the bank records, the fraudulent transfers, the fact that he had already been warned to stay away from me. They took it very seriously. By the end of the meeting, Jake was officially banned from my dorm building and all student housing. If he set foot near me again, he'd be reported to the police. That was satisfying, but it wasn't enough. I needed something bigger. Jake wasn't just some random dropout. He had one thing in his life that actually mattered to him: his academic standing. He was in a competitive honors program, one that required an impeccable record. And guess what? Stealing money and breaking university rules weren't exactly honorable actions, so I filed an official misconduct report with the university. I included the fraudulent transactions, bank proof attached, the security complaint from my dorm because he had stalked me, the fake messages he had spread about me, screenshots attached. I wasn't sure what the university would do, but I had a feeling they wouldn't take it lightly. And I was right. 2 days later, Jake's name was dragged through the mud. His professors were notified of the misconduct case. His scholarship? Under review. And the best part? He had no idea I was behind it, until I saw him lose it in the middle of campus. I was walking to class when I heard shouting. "What do you mean I'm on probation?" I turned the corner and saw Jake standing outside the academic office, red-faced, waving his hands like a maniac. "She's lying. She's crazy. I didn't steal anything." The administrator he was yelling at remained calm. "We have documented evidence, Mr. Carter. This is a serious offense." I almost laughed. Jake was spiraling. And I was just getting started. I didn't just want him to get in trouble. I wanted him to feel it. So I took one final step. I forwarded the fraud report to his parents. Yes, his parents, the people paying his tuition. I wrote a polite, professional email explaining that. Their son had stolen from me. I had filed official fraud claims. The university was already investigating him. I attached everything. Then I hit send. And then I waited. 2 days later, I got the text I had been waiting for. "Sarah, OMG, you need to see this." She sent me a screenshot of Jake's academic profile. Suspended. I gasped. Sarah texted again. "Sarah, apparently his parents flipped out. Pulled his tuition. He's done." Jake? The guy who thought he could get away with stealing from me, lying to me, ruining my reputation? He had just lost everything. His honors program, his scholarship, his academic standing, his money. And I got the last laugh. The news spread like wildfire. Jake, the arrogant, aggressive guy who thought he was untouchable, was suspended. People whispered about it in the dining hall. Someone even posted about it anonymously on the campus forum. Honors student caught in fraud scandal. Suspended for misconduct. I watched the chaos unfold from a distance, sipping my coffee while my phone buzzed with messages. Some were from people who had doubted me. Emily. Hey. I heard about Jake. I'm really sorry I didn't believe you before. Dylan. Damn. Guess you weren't the crazy ex after all. Others were from Jake's friends. Mark. Dude, I heard his parents cut him off. He's losing his apartment. Rachel. He's blaming you for everything. He's furious. Be careful. That last one gave me pause. Because if there was one thing I knew about Jake, it was that he didn't handle losing well. I didn't have to wait long. That night, a blocked number called me. I let it ring. Then came the text. Unknown. You think this is funny? You ruined my life. You're gonna pay for this. I exhaled slowly, my fingers tightening around my phone. He was unraveling, and that made him dangerous. I wasn't scared. Not exactly. But I wasn't stupid either. So I did what I should have done a long time ago. I went to the police. Campus security had already flagged Jake's name because of his previous warnings, so when I showed them the new threats, they took it very seriously. He's been harassing you for weeks, the officer said, frowning as he read through the messages. Now he's making threats. That's escalation. I nodded. I knew it was escalating. We can help you file for a restraining order, the officer continued. This will legally prevent him from contacting you. If he does, we can arrest him. I signed the paperwork that day. Jake wasn't just banned from campus now. He was banned from coming anywhere near me. And if he tried, he wouldn't just be suspended. He'd be in jail. I didn't hear from him for 2 days. Then, late one night, I got a call from Mark. Laura, you need to check the campus forum. Right now. I pulled it up, and there it was. Jake had snapped. He had posted a massive rant, pages long, blaming me for everything. She's a liar, a manipulator. She ruined my life over nothing. She's a psycho ex who couldn't handle rejection. I didn't do anything wrong. And then, the worst part. I know where she lives. My breath caught. I read it again. I know where she lives. A cold chill ran down my spine. I immediately screenshot everything and sent it to the police. By the next morning, Jake's post was deleted, and so was his student email. Expelled. He was gone. For good. The last conversation I should have been relieved, but I wasn't. Not completely. Because part of me knew Jake wasn't finished. And I was right. 2 nights later, my phone rang. Unknown caller. I hesitated. Then I answered. You won't get away with this. His voice was low, shaking with anger. You think you won? I took a deep breath. I wasn't scared. I don't think. I know. Silence. Then his voice cracked. You took everything from me, Laura. For the first time, he sounded small. And that's when it hit me. Jake wasn't just angry. He was broken. No, Jake, I said softly. You did that to yourself. I hung up, and I never heard from him again. For the first time in weeks, I woke up without checking my phone in fear. Jake was gone, expelled, banned from campus, blocked from contacting me. His final words still echoed in my head. You took everything from me, Laura. But the truth was, he had done that to himself. The following week, life slowly returned to normal. People stopped whispering in the hallways. The stares disappeared. Even the rumors Jake had spread about me faded into nothing. Sarah and I sat in the campus cafe, sipping our coffees as she scrolled through her phone. Looks like Jake deleted all his social media, she said. No more vague rants about you. I sighed in relief. Good. So, now that your crazy ex is officially out of your life, what's next? That was a good question. For so long, I had been in defense mode, reacting to his attacks, protecting myself, fighting back. But now, I was free. I think I just want to move on, I admitted. And I meant it. Revenge wasn't about destroying Jake. It was about getting my life back. And now, finally, I had. I didn't hear about Jake again for a few months. Not until Mark texted me one afternoon. Mark, you are not gonna believe this. I raised an eyebrow, typing back. Me. What now? Mark. Word is, Jake tried to enroll at another university. But guess what? They found out about his expulsion. They rejected him. I blinked. I hadn't expected that. Me. Wait, seriously? Mark. Yep. Turns out, once you get kicked out for fraud, it's not so easy to get a fresh start. I didn't feel guilt. I didn't feel pity. I felt justice. Jake had spent his whole life thinking he could do whatever he wanted, take whatever he wanted, and get away with it. Now, he was paying the price. And I had nothing to do with it. It was his own actions that had ruined him. 1 year later, I found myself back in the same cafe, sipping coffee with Sarah. You ever wonder what happened to Jake? She asked, stirring her drink. I shrugged. Not really. And I meant it. The truth was, Jake wasn't important anymore. My life had moved forward. I had graduated on time, gotten a great internship, started building the future I wanted. Jake? I had no idea where he was. And I didn't care. Looking back, I realized something. I didn't win because I ruined Jake's life. I won because I refused to let him ruin mine. I didn't let him intimidate me. I didn't let him steal from me and get away with it. I didn't let his lies become my truth. I fought back. And in the end, that was all that mattered.
Adopted brothers told my son we are not family, so I uninvited them from my wedding. I'm a 32-year-old man and I'm getting married to my longtime girlfriend soon. What should be one of the happiest moments of my life has turned into a heartbreaking ordeal because of a deepening rift in my family. To give you some background, I'm my parents' biological son, and when I was 12, they adopted 2 boys who were biological siblings, Jack, who was 8, and Liam, who was 5. From the beginning, it was clear that things were going to be tough. Jack came with severe behavioral issues due to some intense trauma. I'll spare the details, but it was significant. I tried my hardest to be understanding, but living with him was nothing short of exhausting. His outbursts were constant and I often felt like I was walking on eggshells, terrified of setting him off. As we grew older, I continued to try to be there for Jack despite everything. A few years ago, Jack fell into a devastating drug addiction. I stood by him through his darkest moments, supporting him through rehab, and doing everything I could to help him get back on his feet. It was draining and heartbreaking, but I did it because I loved him and believed that despite our challenges, we were still brothers. Liam, on the other hand, was always easier to get along with and I formed a closer bond with him. But even so, I always felt like an outsider. Jack and Liam's bond as biological siblings was undeniable and I never quite felt like I was truly a part of it. It was like I was always on the edge looking in, trying to be included but never fully accepted. The situation came to a head recently at a Sunday dinner at my parents' house. My son was working on his summer homework, which involved creating a family tree. He innocently asked Jack if he wanted to be included and Jack just flat out said no. He didn't want to be a part of it because, in his exact words, "We're not real brothers." He said it so casually, like it was the most obvious thing in the world, with no regard for how much it would cut me to the core. I was utterly stunned, but what shattered me even more was that Liam, who I've always felt closer to, just sat there in silence. He didn't say a word. He didn't defend me or even acknowledge how hurtful Jack's words were. He just let it happen. I've tried so hard to be supportive of both of them, especially Jack, despite the endless challenges. So for Jack to say that and for Liam to do nothing felt like a gut punch. It was as if they were both telling me in no uncertain terms that I was never truly part of their family. In my pain and frustration, I decided to uninvite both Jack and Liam from my wedding. My fiancé has been nothing but supportive of my decision, but my parents are furious. They've made it clear that if Jack and Liam aren't invited, they won't attend either. It feels like history is repeating itself, with my parents once again prioritizing Jack over me, no matter how much it hurts me. I'm absolutely heartbroken that my parents would choose to miss my wedding rather than support me in this. I know Jack has been through a lot, But I've done everything I can to be there for him and for Liam despite all the heartache. And now I feel like I'm the one being punished for finally standing up for myself and setting some boundaries. Am I the for uninviting my brothers after they said they don't see me as family even if it means my parents won't come to my wedding? No. OP. In my opinion, you are not the you mentioned. You were 12 when they became a part of your family and now you're 32. That's 20 years of sharing your life with them and they still feel that you're not their brother? And it was also pretty mean with your son. I mean, I don't know how old is your son, but I'm pretty sure you've told him all his life that these are his uncles, your brothers, and then for him to just tell your son that no, basically we're not family, we're not related. You've seen me all your life but whatever. Yeah? I think that's kinda like a whole move. And your parents, well, they take the cake, man. I'm just gonna assume that when you guys were kids, your parents had different parenting rules for the three of you. Maybe out of fear of possibly traumatizing Jack by saying no or something like that. They never parented him correctly, turning him into some golden child or something. And honestly, if I was in your shoes, I would say fine, then you guys aren't coming either. End of story. Again, OP. No. Not the a-hole. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section and now let's check out the community comments. Snowbird60 says, not the a-hole. Liam and Jack have been in your family for 20 years. If you all aren't family by now, what the F are you? I have a major issue with your parents. They're definitely the a-holes in all of this. The minute Jack said that to your son, they should have spoken up and defended you. The fact that they let him get away with it and now are saying they won't attend your wedding is BS. I would tell them not to bother coming to your wedding and that you hope they'll be happy with their two sons. Then I would take my son and go full no contact with him. And OP responds, honestly, I've considered going no contact with him in the past, but I've never had the guts to genuinely do it. I think my life would have been better off if I did it long ago. Cigarettes After Sex says, not the a-hole. It's your wedding. You should have people there that love and support you. I hope you and your fiancé have the best day, and I hope your son doesn't take those frankly rude comments to heart. And Dragon Scrivener says, ugh, I'm sorry, OP. That really sucks. I wouldn't invite your entire immediate family and make 100% sure they know why it's happening. That you love and have supported them only for them to make you feel like an outsider. And it's now time for you to prioritize your own well-being and the family you've made over your parents and adopted brothers. You need to go no contact or low contact with them all and, honestly, keep them away from your kid or kids. They're clearly not hesitant to speak poorly of you to your son and that's not cool. Be kind to yourself, OP. Family isn't all about blood and sometimes the family we choose, find, or make is the family we really need, not the a-hole. Additional information from Ops comments. I have always got on better with Liam even though I do still feel like an outsider compared to them two, which is probably because they're biological brothers who have the shared trauma. I still feel really hurt by Liam not saying anything, but my main issue is with my parents and Jack. I'm going to talk to Liam later. I don't blame them or him for his drug addiction. Jack and Liam had truly horrible things happen to them both as children. Stuff I won't get into here, but you can understand it was the type of stuff that leaves lifelong scars on you even with the therapy they've gone through. One time, Jack spoke to me about how when he's high on drugs, it's the only time in his entire life where he doesn't constantly remember and only time he ever feels at peace. Obviously, I shouldn't be the one who is constantly picking up the pieces of him, but I can 100% understand why he got into drugs. He's still in a hole though. Jack's comment was only the catalyst for the argument that happened. And, yes, there would have been no issues with Jack being included in the family tree. My son is 5 and just wanted to show off what he was doing. I have never said anything to plant an idea that they aren't my brothers. My son doesn't even know they're adopted, not because it's something we hide. It just hasn't ever been something we really discuss as a family. So the community judged OP to not be the a-hole and basically the parents are the huge a-holes here and Jack is also in a hole. Also OP reiterated how close he is with Liam and how surprised he was by his behavior so he's going to talk to him. Now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. I'm honestly still reeling from everything that's gone down since my last post. First off, thank you to everyone who took the time to comment. I've read through all your advice and it's been a lifeline. But buckle up because things have taken a wild turn. After hearing from so many of you, I decided I needed to talk to Liam. We met up at a pub and I just laid it all out there. I told him how hurt I was when he didn't say anything after Jack made that awful comment about not being real brothers. I was half expecting him to defend himself but what I got was something entirely different. Liam confessed that he's been living in fear of Jack for years. He told me he kept quiet that night because he was terrified of setting Jack off and not because he agreed with him. Then he dropped a bombshell. Despite being Jack's biological brother, he's felt just as much of an outsider in our family as I have. The constant pressure from our parents to cater to Jack's every whim has worn him down too. Liam assured me that he's always seen me as his brother and that he regrets not standing up for me sooner. Hearing that was a huge relief. He's completely on my side now, and we agreed that if Jack can't respect me as a brother, he has no place at my wedding or in our lives. But just when I thought things couldn't get more intense, my parents decided to make everything worse. I sat them down and explained why I uninvited Jack, hoping they'd understand. Instead, they threw down their ultimatum. If Jack isn't invited, they're not coming to my wedding. No room for discussion. No empathy. Just flat-out refusal. I was gutted. After all these years of putting Jack's needs above mine, this is how they repay me. I couldn't hold back anymore. I let out all the anger and frustration I've been bottling up for years. I told them how I've always been the one sacrificing, how they've always prioritized Jack, and that I was done being treated like I don't matter. I made it clear that if they choose not to come to my wedding, they are making their choice, and I'll make mine. With that, I walked out, leaving them to stew in their own decisions. Then later, out of nowhere, Jack started bombarding me with the nastiest, most hurtful texts I've ever received. He accused me of turning Liam against him, of ripping the family apart, and had the audacity to call me selfish for abandoning him. He ranted about how he never felt like he belonged in the family and how it's all my fault for pushing him away. His words hit hard, but they also opened my eyes. Jack has spent his whole life blaming everyone else for his problems, and I've been his favorite scapegoat. This time though, I'm not letting him guilt-trip me. I didn't even respond. I just blocked his number. If he can't see what he's done wrong, then there's nothing more to say. Liam was livid when I told him about Jack's messages. He's more determined than ever to support me, and we've decided to go low contact with our parents until after the wedding. Liam's been a rock through all of this, helping me with the wedding plans and making sure I'm not dealing with this mess alone. So the wedding is still happening, but with a much smaller guest list. My parents haven't reached out since our argument, and at this point, I don't care if they show up or not. This day is about me and my fiancé, and I'm not letting anyone, not even my own family, ruin it. Thank you again for all your support and advice. I'll keep you posted if anything else happens, though I'm really hoping my next update is just about how amazing the wedding was. Fingers crossed. Well, OP, you're absolutely right. Your wedding day is about you and your fiancé, and it's good that you have Liam by your side. Also, I have to say that it's pretty ironic that Jack blamed you for ripping the family apart, considering he says he's not your brother. That's kind of inconsistent, isn't it? Anyway, OP, here's wishing you, your fiancé, and Liam the best in the future. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit, Am I the A-hole? And it's by user KeyEstate6764. Am I the A-hole for refusing to give my brother $200,000 from our parents' inheritance after he got scammed? I, 34 male, recently inherited $400,000 from our parents' estate after they passed away. There was a slight delay in my part in receiving the said amount because of some legal complications. My younger brother, 31 male, received the same amount but just months after their death. He was swindled out of nearly all his life savings by a shady investment scheme. Now he's asking me to share $200,000 of my inheritance to help him get back on his feet. He argues that our parents would have wanted us to have equal financial standing and that losing his money wasn't his fault. Yeah, right. And that he'd pay me back later. I feel terrible for him, but I don't think it's fair to give up half of my inheritance for a mistake he made, no matter how unfortunate. I've been working hard, budgeting and planning to use this money for my family's future. If I give him half, it puts my own financial security at risk. My wife supports my decision, but some relatives think I'm being greedy and heartless, saying family comes first. Am I the a-hole? No. OP, you're not the a-hole. You're actually following your family's advice that family comes first because your family is your wife and kids. The rest is extended family. Also, the fact that your brother probably fell for one of those get-quick-rich schemes, it's just on him. The only person that wins in those scams is the one that makes it up. And the only other people I know of that get rich quick are politicians that do insider trading. But I digress. Your brother's argument is that your parents would have wanted you both to be on equal financial footing. Well, you were. He got the exact same amount you did, but he just lost it because he got scammed and it was his decision. So no, UPI. You're not the and if the rest of your family feels bad for your brother, like I've said before, they can pull their money and help them out themselves. And what is your judgment? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Rye1 says, if he had taken his $400,000 and immediately doubled it in his investment scheme, would he have given you $201,000 so that you would both have even financial standing like your parents would have wanted? Your parents did provide you with equal financial standing. What they apparently fell short on is in providing you with equal intellectual standing. Your brother is an idiot for first blowing 400,000 and second thinking it should be your problem. Probably also third for thinking that he's going to take the 200,000 and somehow be able to turn it back into 400,000 so he can pay you back, not the a-hole. Special X says, did family come first when your brother got his share months before you did? And OP responds, nope. He told me he was working on something special and was going to be very rich very soon and buy a great vacation house where he'd invite us to stay for a week every year. And No Molasses 1939 says, not the a-hole. That's unfortunate. Yet, you guys were getting the same amount as he did. Sorry he got scammed, but it's not your fault or responsibility to give your share. Tell your relatives that if they felt that bad, then they can pull their money together and replace that 200,000. I bet that will shut them up. Offset it. Wow, this blew up. I didn't think I'd need online strangers to knock sense into me. Also, it's funny how quickly someone can go from calling every hour to a direct block. I called my brother and asked him what exactly happened and told him I'd only give him the money if he told me the truth and only the truth. He told me he invented in a company called Aramco, obviously not the real one, to a sheik and paid his deposit of $10,000 the first time where he got back $20,000. Then he began scaling up and always got doubled until a $100,000. He got back a $110K. Then he was emboldened and invested $300,000 and was guaranteed $600,000, and the rest is history. He made a police report but had no evidence to share as he withdrew in cash and dealt in cash itself, taken only token receipts which were fake. He kept the previously gotten amount in cash in his house. I only came to know how stupid someone can get. I told them his lack of basic common sense and greed does not constitute grounds for charity on my part and told them to take better care of the remaining 100,000. He cussed me out and told me I disappointed my parents. As for my relatives, I told them all in the group chat that I'd only match whatever they would pay for my brother and even offered to double it since I was so greedy and I wanted to prove them wrong. Thanks to a legendary commenter who suggested that I love you. I was cussed out there too. Lol, they're all blocked now. They told me the money got into my head. Sorry for not replying to the comments. I was really weakening in my resolve not to pay him and you guys just snapped me back. Thank you. You all saved me. Wow. So he was trying to scam you. He had a 100K still left, but he wanted 200 from you because you needed to be on equal footing. He's really not good at math, is he? Anyways, the community said that OP was not the a-hole and we have an update, so let's move on with that to see how this story ends. He called again. So after blocking my brother and the pesky relatives and thinking the drama was over, he found another way to get to me. He called through my wife. Turns out, things are worse than he originally told me. That 100K he had left, it's all going toward paying off loans and a car he financed, so he's basically left with nothing. He finally admitted how desperate he is, apologized for not being fully honest earlier and being a douche and cussing me out. He says he realizes he messed up big time. Greed got the better of him and now he's asking for 50,000 instead of the 200, promising to pay me back eventually. He even said he'd appreciate whatever help I could offer if I could give the full amount. Yes, I asked him about the previous increments he received. Turns out, he actually invested 350,000. The desperation in his voice was palpable, but honestly, I'm done with him. He wasn't always this reckless or stupid, or maybe I was wrong, but the guy I'm dealing with now is a complete mess. Thanks to you all who made me see that. His greed and lack of financial knowledge are his own doing, and I'm not about to bail him out. Lastly, thank you to all of you who took time to help me realize the massive blunder I was about to commit. You guys saved my finances and quite possibly my life. I'm grateful to all of you. Well, OP, of course, it sucks to be in your brother's position, but he's the one that got himself into it. Like you say, lack of knowledge in finances and greed. What a horrible combination. Anyways, OP, good for you and your family for staying firm. Take care and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it.